Hello, welcome. My name is Jared, and this is Does This Work, a comedy podcast. My guest today is a Scottish-born comedian who's now based in Perth. Has been all over Fringe. Recently did his show with Ian Burke called Home But Away, which went swimmingly, I hear.
Yeah, very good.
Fringe World called him unapologetically Scottish, irresistibly funny. The Comedy Lounge called him just make up a quote and put our name to it.
Certainly
Right?
did.
Yeah, they also said he's the greatest comedian of all time. David Callan, thank you.
Hello.
Some applause down here for you. Everything's recording, everything's going,
good.
everything's good. We're going.
The lights, cameras.
Lights, cameras, and we had the lights and the cameras. The action wasn't happening.
To start again.
Yeah. I'm so sorry. Running this whole. If anyone's out there and wants to come and hang out on a podcast once a week and run cameras for me, that'd be great. I'm looking for.
Any students?
Any students that just want to get onto it and just
do.
talk to comedians from all over the world to talk about their crafts. Speaking of which, if you could run us by why you started comedy.
Yeah.
Again, I'm so sorry.
So
Yeah.
I kind of got into performing stand-up by accident.
Yeah.
And the stand in Edinburgh, they'd tweeted out, I think in about 2013 it was, a few months before the Edinburgh Fringe, had tweeted out about some comedy course thing.
Right.
They're going, it's funded by Virgin Money, so it's free if you're, whoever fancy doing it. It's 10 spaces. Here's the link. Fill out the form.
Yeah.
So I did that, and then I don't know, about a month later or something, they got something going. Yep, congratulations, you've got the spot. And I'd done it because I hadn't really sort of intended to do stand up. In that regard, I always liked it, but I'd done when I was a student 2 or 3 years before that. I'd one summer put up a video on YouTube that's now unlisted. You can't find it publicly anymore. But it was me doing 32 different accents.
Oh, great.
of the English language. So I did a video just where I did. Yeah, it was about 9 or 10 minutes long. It got over 1 million views pretty quickly, and I got monetized as well. I think there was one. I think I made about in Aussie dollars, maybe about kind of $800 or $900 off
great.
it. Which as a student in the summer, I was like, this is fucking amazing.
For doing something that's fun for you to do as well.
Yeah. So it wasn't like I thought I wanted to be a YouTuber or something, but I kind of thought like, comedy, acting or comedy performing and stuff, but not really sort of stand up as on its own. Had sort of crossed my mind. So I sort of applied for that with that in mind. And then got the thing saying you've got a spot coming down this. So it was basically one Saturday a month kind of thing in the 4 months leading up to the Edinburgh Fringe in August. Where it'd be pretty much a whole kind of day thing. And it was went along, and it was Susan Morrison, who's a really great Scottish comedian and stuff. Does been around for ages and does a lot of stuff on Radio Scotland and everything. She was the main one, kind of running it every week. Every time, and the first one we went to, so 10 of us were in the stand itself on a Saturday morning. So it's weird in this comedy club in the morning. There's no one else around. They're sitting, the stage is there, and then she was talking to us a bit, and she was basically like, "All right, well, so there's a showcase during the Edinburgh Fringe in August, in one of the other stand venues across the road. That's like 180 seats." So everyone's got 5 minutes, and then I was like, "What the fuck?" I was like, I didn't realize I don't have any stand up. I'm going to have to do 5 minutes in front of like 180 people soon. And then she was also like, so before we go for lunch, we'll get everyone can come up here in the room and do your material. And I was like, I don't fucking have any material. I kind of written like a couple of jokes and stuff. That had maybe posted online, right? Stuff like that, and that was big. So I went up, and obviously it's kind of terrifying. But then I guess there's 10 of you. Yeah. No one's ever really performed stand up before, and you're performing to each other. So it's kind of hard. So that was it. That was the first time I ever got on stage.
And you did it right in front of them?
I mean, I don't know. It's probably subjective, really, isn't it? One of the jokes I had was. Which I never even told ever once when in front of an audience, was one of the jokes was like, what was it? Oh, when, I don't know, like I was out nightclubbing and dancing with a girl, and then she like put her hand down there, and She was like, "Oh, it's impressive." And then I was like, "Oh, thanks." Most people think it's weird that I bring my guinea pig out clubbing. Right, that was a joke. That was the height of my. And so I did that. I think I did like 2.5 minutes or something. I honestly don't even know what else I said. And then we did that. Then a few other Saturdays, and then Fringe came around, did the 5 minutes, and that was it. And never stopped.
Yeah. So you got the bar. Like I feel like you would have done well enough. But like, yeah, well, I'll keep doing this. Like
I
the
guess
first
basically.
laughs that come through.
Yeah, and the one the kind of showcase one we did was obviously a very nice and sportive. They knew the thing. They knew that it was all just brand new people doing their first 5 minutes basically.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of friends, family, people. I had some mates that came along. So it wasn't like for first gig, it wasn't a big venue. Well, in fact, actually, no, that was my second gig. Actually, I did one open mic about 2 weeks before it, just as a kind of practice.
Yeah, cool. And then so your writing style, right? So like, how were you coming up in the early days anyway? How were you coming up with your material? Was it like punchline first, and then like,
I honestly can't remember. I struggle to even remember what material I was doing, what sort of jokes I was doing and stuff.
And then as you went along, I guess like the crowds are responding to certain topics and certain things that you're talking to.
Yeah, well, the big thing was because the Scottish independence referendum was in 2014.
Right.
So I think I had some material about that, but I think basically everyone in Scotland did. It was such a big topic. So I remember I had some material about that. It would go quite well. But I can't. But that wasn't all. But then it was one of these things. As soon as the independence referendum was done, it was like, oh, whatever. It was like every comedian in Scotland was like, oh shit, right, it's like new material now.
It's like when COVID started to sort of go away. Everyone's like, now what are we talking about?
Yeah. So that was it. But I can't remember. But now a lot of it was. I did my first Fringe show over here. A lot of it was stories from like my travels and
that's cool.
And being in Australia and everything.
I mean, there's a fair few comedians that have like immigrated here, right? And I feel like they've got a great point of view, especially for storytelling. Because you can come in as someone who's not born and raised in Australia and go, this is how you guys look to me.
Yeah.
And then the audience always responds really well to that. Yeah. Right? Yeah. Is that how you feel? Like they respond?
Yeah,
well?
I mean, you're always going to have that. If you're not from somewhere and it's the same if Aussies were in the UK or something. Right. Like you're going to, you can always get that, like, this is different from where I'm from. So, you can always get a few.
Yeah.
It almost makes it a bit easier in the sense because you can do a little bit like that at the start of your set and you get some laughs and then go off and talk about because I had the opposite when I was back in Scotland recently and did a gig at the Stand. I was like, oh fuck, what? I was like, my first 2 minutes are all about like Australia basically. And that's not going to work here. I was like, shit, what do I get to? We're going to actually talk about it at the start.
Yeah.
Or is this going to be funny? Is that only funny in Australia?
You got to ask them the question.
Yeah.
Because you get so used to. How long have you been here for? Sorry.
7 years now, almost. Yeah, almost cool. 7 years. Yeah.
Because I often wonder, because sometimes I write jokes that I feel like aren't me, or not who the audience sees me to be.
Yeah.
And I don't even try it, or I say it to other comedians. I'm like, that's funny, but I feel like it's not you. It's not you.
Yeah.
Do you feel like it's important to stay with who the audience sees you as, or do you think it's important to just try everything and see what?
I don't know. Probably when you're newer, it's probably good to try a lot of things. Because you want to find your voice, so you kind of... But then I think I guess, you can't really... Because it is to come across as authentic as well, so you can't really force something that's not you or... but that's why if you're talking about your sort of own personal lived experiences, then it's going to automatically come across as... just you and authentic and everything.
I think that's, a lot of older comedians, if they start older, same in the acting industry, I feel like because they got the life experience, their inhibitions aren't as, they're not so worried about what people think, they don't care. I feel like they do better faster because of that. They don't have that thing and they are sort of more confident about who they are as a human being.
Yeah, definitely.
So when you get on stage, it's like, I'm just trying to be, I'm new a couple of years in, you know what I mean? But I'm just trying to be, I got to a point only recently where I was saying this to some comedians at the Windmill the other night. I was like, I feel like with acting, it takes. I come from an acting background, So you memorize your scripts and you get on set and you're doing the same thing. And I was trying to take that into stand-up comedy, and it doesn't translate.
No,
So
yeah.
I get on stage and I memorize these jokes like a script, like a monologue,
Yeah.
and it's just sounding rehearsed.
Well, yeah. I was going to say, because how do you find that? Because I've seen it, remember in Scotland and stuff, there'd be some people who maybe started in acting who get into comedy. And then it would almost like they would have a very good confident stage presence, but then that sort of thing of like going, now sometimes it can feel a bit too. How do you find it with? Do you find it harder to kind of sort of deviate? Is it less natural to sort of deviate from what you're planning on saying? Or?
It's more natural now.
Yeah.
Only because the scales have been tipping from more to comedy than acting.
Yeah.
So now I'm doing less acting, less auditions. I'm still happy to be in the industry. I'm still happy to do the auditions when they come up. But I feel like it's allowing me to be me more than acting does. Like, obviously acting is fun because you get to pretend. You get to play other characters. I had Blake Richardson on and we discussed that. He's like, he'd prefer to do acting, like, as the main thing.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, oh man, if I could work as a professional comedian, that'd be the dream. Literally the dream from when I was. And the things that I do are cool. You know, they're pretty cool from an outside perspective, and they're dreams that I've had since I was 6. I wanted to be a working musician. I do that now. I want to be an actor. I do that. I even the side things. I'm teaching acting, which is cool. I get to direct the acting classes. We get together and get a crew together and film scenes for students.
Yeah.
And then comedy, I get paid once in a blue moon.
Yeah.
but that's on the right.
You're still you've not been doing that long, I know. It's
2 years. To be getting any paid work, I'm just like.
Yeah. I think it's here in Perth. It seems to be that you can get paid work quicker than certainly when I started in Scotland. It was quite. I remember the first time I got like 20 quid for a gig or something. It was. I'd maybe been going a year and a half.
And then you call yourself a working.
And you're like, I can't believe
now.
someone's paying me to do this. It was an overnight. We went up to Elgin, which is in the north coast of Scotland. Yeah. So it was like a drive up. Got paid 20 quid. I was in like 5 or 10 minutes in the middle. Yeah. 20 quid. You get like your dinner and free drinks all night and free accommodation. Then back then, and I was like, you're getting awesome. You're getting a trip. This is like. Yeah.
Well, I think starting a little later as well, even though I've been in it a couple of years, I think I might give off the impression to people that aren't in the industry that I've been doing it slightly longer than I actually have been. And I did, like, I tell this story too much, but I did too much research before I started. Like, I studied it like it was a course, which meant reading books and podcasts, watching and listening to podcasts. And in the car, I was listening to stand-up all the time. And I even studied, like, the psychology of human beings and why we laugh and things. They're just way too much. And then I just wrote my life story out. I wrote things that I remembered, and then went on stage and did a Mad Cow a couple of years ago, Was
that your first gig?
That was the first gig.
Oh yeah, I've hosted that a couple of times.
Oh yeah, cool.
It's good. It's a fun. It's a good old school kind of open mic. You don't really get many like that in Perth. I don't know. I quite like it from that.
It is pretty wild.
I think they're doing their Christmas one. So
I'll be there. Yeah.
Is that next week?
I think so. Yeah. 20. Monday. Yeah.
I say we'll go down and do that.
I'm not sure when this will come out, but it'll be. I'm sure it went well.
Yeah. Great. We smashed it.
But you're right. It is a cool. I mean, I would love to live in New York and just do comedy clubs there for like a year. Yeah. You know what I mean? And then because people will be, you can go from club to club, do 6 clubs in a night. Yeah. And basically. They're all within range.
This is kind of impossible in Perth.
Yeah, because you're going from the Windmill to like Bassendean to.
But then also I think there's just in Perth there's the open mics and stuff. There's because they have to keep it fresh. Then it's kind of, it's not like you can go do the same one week after week sort of thing. And
see the same audiences as well.
Yeah,
and that was not the problem, but that's the thing that you do find with Mad Cows, like.
Is that the same audience?
Yeah,
or backpack. Yeah, and then they can be good back because like Edinburgh was always a good place I thought for starting comedy, because obviously you've got the Fringe that comes there, but. The audiences in Edinburgh would be very mixed. Yeah. So even if you did a gig in Glasgow, it could be like the MC is like, who's Scottish? It would be like 90-95% of the room. Whereas in Edinburgh it would be like a few, and then it's like some Americans and some people that and students from all over the place. So you're getting like a kind of more mixed crowd, and not just haven't then kind of relying on like local humour and stuff.
Well, I've only just recently been having more fun with crowd. I wouldn't really call it crowd work, but like I'm just trying to involve them a bit more and just chat to them. Like I was at the Windmill for their Christmas thing, and there was just this row of just lads in the front row, just handsome, young, tall, strapping lads. And, just acknowledging that I was like, never, my penis has never felt so small. And just involving them a little bit, you know what I mean? Just to get it. And then even I do this bit about Indians, and then I rag on them a little bit. And, you know, sometimes there's an Indian guy in the front row, so I'll just like dap him up or like, you know, involve. Yeah. So I'm just having a bit more fun. Like I reached this point where, you know, I got over the fact I was starting to not enjoy it, but like I was just feeling like I wasn't present on stage because I'm saying this monologue in an acting sort of way, and I was like, I like the jokes are great, the structure's fine, it gets the response I want, but I feel like I'm not saying anything. I feel like I know the phrase like finding your voice, but I only truly understood that like some months ago, and I was like, I just want to, I wish I could. I want to say something, and I think it was maybe Felix. That was like, you want your voice, and I was like, yes, I've heard it before, you know, 1,000 times. And like, finally it just clicked. I'm like, I want to go and be me on stage. I don't want to be a character of myself where I've just rehearsed lines. You know, he paused in the right places and inflected the right words.
Well, I think it's different, but then different people have different approach. Like I've never written sets out like a script, but I know some people that do, and they're not actors, but they, you know, they'll write their whole set almost out or jokes out as a script essentially. But I find I always just kind of basically do like bullet points. And then I find that helps for it to not feel you're a bit looser with it then when you're kind of good, because you're not like, oh, I've got the. I mean, even though obviously once you've done it a few times, like a joke, you know, it usually comes out kind of the same way anyway. But just having that kind of illusion of it being
the first time
off the cuff sort of thing.
I think even like some of my stuff that I do really well, that does really well. I mean, I'm working with just trying to be excited as I say it, like as if like these guys get to hear it for the first time. You know, because for a while it kind of feels like it does feel like acting. It feels like you're just doing the same. You know, the audience is the same everywhere you go, but they're not. It's like that, and that was the big thing for me. I'm like, it's different crowd, different vibe. And
I've had that with like new material though, where if you're trying something brand new for the first time, and you've got that because you don't know if it's going to work or not, and then you get to come work and you get a big laugh or whatever. But then you do it again and it almost like kind of drops off a bit, and you're like, I think it's that it comes from that, like you sort of. No, and then sometimes it's annoying trying to, you're like, fuck, why can't I get... It was better the first time I said it. Why is it like getting worse now? But then...
So then, and when you're writing jokes today, is stuff dropping into your head and you jot it down? Is it observational stuff that you notice that you write down? Or
I guess so. I write little notes, and I don't usually make a conscious decision to like sit and write. I'm more just like things that, or if you get an idea, write notes on my phone or something, and then. I find I get a lot of ideas when I'm in bed before I fall asleep, and then you always have to write it straight away, because if you go, I'll remember that in the morning. You're ever going to remember it.
I fell asleep. I was falling asleep, and I thought of this thing to write. I had to get up and write it down on my phone, but it was like saying like it was like I've been married to my wife for 20 years. I tried this the other night, and it didn't work because I phrased it in the moment. But I was thinking as I was falling asleep, I'm like thinking about people that have been married a long time and how the intimacy like can be a little like little less formal, you know, after 20 years or whatever. And I was like, I wonder what people say to each other after sex. And then it was like, what would be funny if I, after 20 years, if I turned to my wife and said, well, drive safe. And then I just wrote down I wrote down a bunch of options, like drive safe and all the best with your future endeavors. Stay safe out there. And I just thought it was hilarious.
You just like, roll over and fart. Is that what happens after like 20 years?
That's it. How you sleep already? So I just thought it'd be funny if I said, and then so I went on stage and I tried it out. I've only tried it once. And I've said it to other comedians, and they're like, "Oh, that's pretty funny." I think it could be a one-liner. It could be something in between on the way to a bigger joke. But and instead of saying "drive safe," I said "drive home." So I turned to my wife and said, "Drive home,"
Drive
and
home.
then they laugh, but it wasn't.
Then you're like, no, wait, it doesn't actually make sense.
Yeah. And then I was like, thinking in my head, I fucked that up. And then I said, I say that stuff, and then I say, just thanks for coming. I didn't even mean to say that, but that got a bigger laugh by accident.
Yeah. Sometimes you can get funny lines by accident when you're. It's the bit you don't think it's gonna be funny, but then that you're like, oh shit.
But falling asleep in the shower on the driving in the car. It's all things when your mind is sort of like not really present, or you're distracted. Things are just coming to you. Yeah, but I do like the practice of sitting down to write, because I feel like it at least gets the gears going. Yeah. Even if nothing comes of it, like you write a page of just nonsense, at least.
Yeah, even if 95% of it is nonsense, then the occasional time you'll get a little. I used to like doing that. The only time I've done that, and it was I got some material about it that I still sometimes use, was Monkey Barrel in Edinburgh, one of the newer clubs that opened. I think it was like 2017, just about a year before I left. They used to do on a Tuesday night. It was called Project X, and it would do themes every week. Would be like a different theme, and if you were on, you had to write about that theme. And then they sort of changed it where it was like you basically could do anything other than just like normal stand-up. So it would be a bit more alternative style comedy and stuff. But some of the themed ones before, they were like, like it was a dark one, it was like about dark comedy, and one's about like, I don't know, love or relationships or something. And it had to be like new material that you hadn't done before. Yeah. So you would write like 5 to 10 minutes of material, and the audience knew what it was and knew that everyone's. So it's like not everything lands, but it's a forgiving crowd, but you would get out of each little thing, be like, oh, that's actually quite a funny little line or something that I can use.
Like a nugget in there somewhere.
That was like, you're like, I'm gonna actually try and force myself to sit and write. So probably just laziness. Can't be fucked.
I've been lazy lately, and all the stuff that's coming to me recently. In the most recent weeks has been while I'm just driving. Or lying in bed just before I fall asleep, and it's just I'll quickly jot a note down.
Yeah.
Got that self-driving.
Even just doing stuff, like when I was travelling about and stuff, I would get so much material just from things I was doing and stuff with some bits that I still use. Like there's one of my bits now that's still, and it basically worked. It hasn't really changed much since the very first time I did it, which was that same evening. I'd gone to these hot springs in Taiwan. And I didn't realise until you got there that it was like you had to get naked to go into it. So just me and loads of old Taiwanese men. But then that night I was doing an open mic in Taiwan. There's a great little comedy scene in Taiwan. Doing an open mic there. And then I just spoke about it that, just like, this fucking happened. And and I used that in my Fringe show, and I still sometimes do it at gigs now. Yeah. But that was literally just from something that happened there. And, so I think if you need to almost kind of go out and do things sometimes, and you're just sort of sitting at home smoking weed all day.
Yeah. Well, that's the reason I say yes to some things now, because I know that I'm just going to be able to observe stuff.
Yeah.
So I might cut this out, but...
there's always the joke about like when if a comedian gets dumped or cheated on or something.
Yeah,
it's like, well, you get some material out of it.
That's it, yeah. Well, again, and this might not be me. I might cut this out, I don't know. But like I'm at my son's like graduation. He's going from like a year of primary school to high school. And so, I'm with some of the other parents and stuff, and I'm just like appalled at like how some of the like 13-year-old girls are dressed. I'm like, hair, makeup, like like mini skirts, low cut tops, push up bras, some of them. And I was like, I'm so glad I have a son. Yeah. Because hopefully he can bring some of these girls home in a few years' time.
But that is funny. That is good to hear.
But I was like, I'm not sure. Like, my wife was like, don't say that one. Yeah. Like, maybe. So then I
try it at an open mic. Try it at Madco.
And then I thought, nah, I'm kidding. I won't wait a few years.
Yeah. Yeah, that's funny.
So I wasn't. Again, like sometimes I'll do. I've got like a bit about like my school having some pedophiles and like, and I feel like sometimes people feel or give me the impression that I can't get away with that stuff. Because I've been told I look like I give off like a youth pastor vibe.
I've been doing stuff with pedos at the moment with that social media ban.
Yeah,
And
that's a good idea.
basically talking about how that's it's bad news for kids, and pedos as well.
Yeah.
That under 16s can't get online.
Yeah.
And then got like about how you can still pedos are the last group of people you can still safely assume gender for. If you say like him, no woman's ever like sorry. It's about it. So you're kind of trying to say that like I like pedos as a group because they're the last beacon of an old world in that sense. But it's obviously so ridiculous. But people can kind of I think with stuff like that as well. You maybe have to. You can't open with that. They have to understand that you're not like that first.
Yeah, that's
right. And then what's funny is there was a
good point.
The place I've just moved out of. There's a bakery, not far from me that I was in one Saturday morning. This like little Yugoslavian bakery, and I was standing in the queue, and there was the guy in front of me. Like I turned around, he was like, "Oh, you're a comedian, yeah." And I was like, "Oh yeah." And he's like, "Yes, I saw you at the comedy lounge." And I was like, "Oh yeah, that's cool." It's a few months ago, and he was like, "Yeah, you talking about pedos?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, I think that was weak." But then there was like an old woman behind me and someone else in front, and I was like, "Oh yeah." He was like, "I like this. I think comedy should make you think." Like,
I am pedo.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that's the kind of like people know it's ridiculous.
Yeah. I got recognized as well in a shopping center. Like a checkout guy was like beep at Coles, and he's beep, and I saw him sort of beep, and he's like, "Are you a comedian?" Yeah. And I was like, "Oh yeah, man." And he goes, "Yeah, I saw you at the comedy lounge." He's like, "That stuff about you being gay is so funny." I'm like, I'm with my son, bro, and my wife.
But I mean, stuff like that is remember it. It's like you can do well, but sometimes you can do well without really saying much, or it's funny, but no one's ever going to really remember it at the end. Yeah. Whereas when you're doing stuff like that, but and it's maybe going to be more. I think that's something. I realised after a bit where you're like, oh, you can kind of, if you want to try and sort of get your voice and find your audience, not everyone is going to like it.
Yeah.
But like, so some of that people might be like, well, that's not for me. But then people that do, like, they're going to remember you more, and
That's why I really admire certain comedians that have stage personas, right? Like Gareth Knight.
Oh yeah, right? Very unique. Yeah, really unique. Persona.
And even Ant and stuff like these guys who get on stage and they go, "This is who I want to be on stage, and I'm going to find my audience." And then it might take them longer to find the people that are coming to see them. But once they get their audience, they've got them. They know who they're getting.
Yeah,
it's like exactly. Jeselnik. If you're easily offended, you're not going to go and see Anthony Jeselnik.
Yeah. And it's like maybe even someone like that someone with their own audience can go on like just a standard lineup night and maybe not stand out that much. Maybe it'd be middle of the road in terms of how well they've done, but because of what they're saying or their style, or they just appeal to some people. Then it's like there was Ross Noble was going about this. Would rather be 1% of people's favorite comedian than 20% of people's 15th favorite comedian or something.
A really good point. Yeah.
Because then you're like the other ones that are going to come and buy tickets and see you year after year.
Yeah.
You don't want you want to find the people that are like this. You see them. My
problem probably, and again I'm probably repeating myself on the pod a bit, is that I probably played a bit too safe, and I'm very down the middle. I don't really bomb very hard, but I'm also no one's rolling around in the aisles laughing. I get some decent laughs, but and I'm getting say with Gong, I'll get through, but I won't come in the top three.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's
there's when you get through at Gong and you're like, there's no point in me fucking hanging around. You're like, I basically just got through because they didn't hate me, but I'm not going to win.
But I mean, the laughs are there, and I'm like, all right, that was good. And then you talk to other. It's hard to complain about it with other certain comedians because I'm like, oh man, like I get through the Gong every time, but I just never get into the top three, and they're like, fuck you, because I get gonged off every week.
But then there's sometimes people, it's like maybe getting go, but then one week they'll win it or something.
That's completely random.
Which is funny. I mean, the Gong's I've got a bit of a love-hate relationship with the Gong. I don't know. Yeah, it's good. It's good for something, but I don't think it's the best when you're starting out to sort of use that as the benchmark, because it sort of encourages, which is good in some ways, encourages like punch quick. But then you're never going to get the chance to kind of built, or they're not going to let you kind of build a bit of a
Yeah, and that's what Wolfie's
background.
always talking about backstage. Is always like, just 3 minutes is not long enough to get anything going.
Nah, so you just have to like kind of even he was going like fucking around me, guns around me, but then he went on Kill Tony and crushed it.
He killed, yeah, he did great. I've been trying to get him on, and he keeps ignoring my message. He told me he was
in America at the moment.
I think he's back. I think
oh,
he's
he?
yeah.
He
Well,
was,
I
he
think
was there till recently. He was still there. Not like 2 or 3 days
I
ago.
think he's got a gig on like this weekend.
Ah,
So he's probably he might be back this week. But yeah, he told me he was going to come on, but he's just been flat out busy. So I completely get it. So but he crushed it there. He came out and just did his like screaming into the mic thing, and one of the guys in the panel were like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah.
No, that's Wolfie. That's
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, no. Well, I guess it's just that thing. I think if you're new. When you're new, I think it's good. It's a good sort of novelty show to have, but I don't think it should be used as like the benchmark.
I agree.
For like the kind of vetting process to
Yeah.
get on other gigs. It should be a once a month thing in my opinion. Not and then have like the open mics and stuff where it's a shame they don't do because now is here pre-COVID. They used to have a Wednesday open mic every week, and then they've done that Monday one recently. But it's
The Manic Mondays.
Yeah, but then it's kind of. It was meant that the last one got pulled and stuff. So.
Oh no! Oh.
It's a shame. I just think it's better for the longer. It's like a longer term investment to build up.
Well, I think the Mad Cow. The Gong Show. Like it took me a while to see it for what I see it as now, which is like a fun hang.
Yeah.
Right. You get to catch up. There's a camaraderie, and then it's. I don't take it too seriously in terms. I'm not going into this with the expectation or the hopes that I'm gonna win.
Yeah.
It's just like, and even the material. It doesn't have to be. I'm gonna try the material. I hope it's gonna work because the crowd aren't there to see you succeed.
They want people to fail.
They want people to get gonged off. They want people to fail. The last thing they care about is who's going to win the money. Like, what they want people to get gonged off.
Yeah,
it's fun.
yeah.
It's fun for them. It's just they're out for blood. So if I can just make it as fun as possible,
just have a laugh. And
just try out the new stuff. I do chicken out a little bit, like right before I get on stage. I'm like, I'm going to do old shit.
Yeah. But then sometimes that can be fun. I think maybe if you're doing new shit, it can be. Let's see. If I ever do it, I just want to try some newer stuff because then. You like the old, and then if you do older shit and then get gonged off, then you're like, "Fuck, was it? This is good stuff." But then at least if you can get kind of, then you're like, give a fuck." It's just
that's the plan. Is just to keep having fun with it. I did have another question. Shit, what was it? Something about. Do you feel like you can sort of reinvent yourself if you've been in the industry for a while? Like, how long have you been doing it for?
Like 12. Years,
yeah, right. So like they say it like takes 10 years to find your voice and whatnot.
Yeah.
But like, do you feel like after 12 years you can go, I want to be this, I want to be like this on stage now? Do you feel like you can reinvent yourself or throughout your career, or do you feel like you have to sort of?
I think possibly. I don't see why not. I think if you wanted to, I mean, I've done spots and things where I try to do a bit more like alternative or weirder style.
Yeah.
But then, like, when you're a lot of times, when we're doing these 100% Scottish comedy shows in Melbourne and stuff, the festival and Fringe and everything there, I was on first every night, so you're kind of having to be, you're kind of doing the MC and doing that. You can't go on and be like an alternative or try something that's a bit slower and weird, but like, I think for like, our Fringe shows, some people that are comics, stand-ups, club comics, will do a Fringe show that's like a very different style to, it's not them just doing club materials. I think you definitely can, and it's almost more fun because then you can kind of go, well, this is what. Well, I did that a couple of years ago at the Fringe. I did a show called Crisps, which was quite different from wasn't really just straight stand up, and it kind of was born because I'd applied to do a show, and then as it was getting closer and closer, I was like, fuck, I shouldn't have I don't know what I'm gonna do. Yeah. So I kind of just did a show about me not having a show and why that was. So then it developed over the first, I would say, week plus, because I did the full 4 weeks every single night, and over the first week it like evolved into what it became, which was where I had like a PowerPoint with stuff and just like basically, and that was like a very kind of silly show and stuff. Yeah, with like obviously with like a PowerPoint, you know, that's like
Yeah, I do keep seeing comedians these days using like visual aids.
yeah.
I can't remember that guy. I can't remember his last name. I think his name's Ruben, the real TikTok sort of guy who started doing comedy. But he has like an interactive thing. It's like a kind of like a Bo Burnham thing where
Yeah, right.
he's like pretends like there's a mistake that's happened, but it's actually been pre-written.
Yeah.
But that's what I was going to say. I also like in my, not to sound like a real creep, but in my research, I saw that you did a bit of VR comedy.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
during
during
COVID.
COVID.
That was
It's
fun.
so funny because I bought some headset during COVID because I was like, there's like YouTube videos of like travel vlogs in 360, and I would just like sit in my lounge room like a millennial dad. You know?
Yeah.
And then I was like, I did find some of those rooms once in a while. I'm like, I should do these.
Yeah, what was it called? Failed to Render. That was the
Right.
name of the but it was someone else here, a comic, Hayden Douglas, who used to live here, had
Yeah.
the headset and stuff, and he knew this. It was an American guy that ran it. So we would do it Sunday morning here in Perth, was Saturday night
Yeah.
in America.
Yeah.
So it was weird. You would just go in, and he had one headset, so there would always be like three of us maybe that were on,
Yeah.
and you would just swap the headset around and stand in the little front room. But yeah, it was a trip because you think it's going to be weird, but because it's 3D, even though it's like avatars, you know, it's not like realistic looking people and stuff. Just because it's 3D and it's like a comedy club, they built so there was like pictures on the corridor as you're coming down, and then you'd like put the headset on, so you could make your avatar so that it looked a bit like you or whatever, and then you would like pop in, and then the MC, so someone else would be on, and you can hear them talking, and then the MC would like float over and then be like waiting, because you can do like hand signals, and then they'd be like, you know, come and then like go floating off. So you'd have to follow them to the side of the stage. And then it was basically like, so the audience can talk, all the people in the audience, and they're all just like standing these little things. I don't know how many people, you know, it was maybe like 30, 40 at least, kind of thing. You know, it wasn't like just a little tiny thing.
Better than some open mics we have here.
Yeah. And so they can talk, but what they do is when whoever's on stage, they can amplify, so you've just got a louder voice. But you can literally do crowd work. You can like talk to someone who's at the front. And then you go out and you're on stage, so you're higher up than them. And then you can hear them laughing, but then also then they can do like little emojis. So it would like, you know, if you'd said, and then there'd be like a 1 or 2 second pause, and then you see like the laughy face, like pop, pop, pop. Yeah, it was trippy, but yeah, that's like, so it was like the worst. It's bad enough if you're on stage and someone gets up and leaves the room, but on this, if someone logs out, they just disappear. If you say a punchline and then it's like, oh, someone's just gone, you're like, oh, well, right. Okay.
But then also, because I did go to 1 or 2, and I can't remember what the worlds were. It wasn't that one. It was something. But it was about the same amount of people, 30, 40 people. And I was just one of the people in the crowd just trying to get the guts up. I'm like, why? I can't even get the guts up to do it in my living room.
Yeah.
In front, like, you know. And
but it was weird. You didn't feel you take it off and you're like, I'm just standing in it, but
Yeah.
it didn't feel. You know, it felt like you were performing. It wasn't.
Yeah, but
like
I did.
Because well, we're very lucky because I know a lot of comics back in Scotland that were doing like Zoom gigs.
Yeah.
And drive-through gigs. So you're on, the cars would come and then they flash their lights to laugh and stuff. But then Zoom gigs, you're just talking to your laptop.
Yeah.
So that's weird and you know, that's like uncomfortable. You're gonna not feel natural. But this doing it actually in VR, where your kind of brain's tricked into thinking you're actually standing on stage, is like.
Well, the problem that I had was like they're all talking like they're trying not to wake up their wives. So like someone's on stage and they're just like, you guys ever catch a plane?
Yeah, the kids are asleep in the next room. Yeah, but that was great. We did like 2 or 3 of them. Yeah, it was good. It was good fun.
That's cool.
Good
I might have to have to go back in there now that I'm a performing comedian. I might get in there and see what it's like as a.
Yeah. If you've got it, I can't remember what the, you know, the program or whatever it's called.
MetaQuest is what I've got.
It might have been something like that.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure something happened. Like the room got deleted. Something like that. There was some weird thing where you're like, that's some weird, like fucking Black Mirror, dystopian thing where some comedian's trapped in a deleted VR comedy room for life or something.
Yeah. Well, what a weird chunk of time. And what's really weird is like speaking about, you know, it was just weird that there's like kids now that are starting school that were like born during COVID.
Of course.
You know what I mean?
Right?
Like
Yeah.
2019, 2020, these kids were born and they're going into like primary school now.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow, that period of time went by. It's such a weird blur of like the world was, for the first time in my memory of life, was like the world was doing the same thing.
Yeah. It was. I loved it. I have to be honest. I fucking loved COVID. I thought it was the best time ever.
I hate
not having
going
to
out.
do anything. You're like, you can't do anything.
Yeah.
Like, this is what I've been dreaming of forever.
Yeah. I'm so look. I don't like to call myself. I am pretty lazy. I generally spend most of the time when I'm out going. I can't wait to get home and do that.
You're like,
Yeah.
I just want to go home and sit. And then
Yeah.
it's like, with the government are like, you have to. That's what I don't understand. People that were like, fucking against the government.
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
why would you fucking fight this? This
Thank
is
you,
amazing.
government. Yeah. Did you have COVID at all?
I got once.
Yeah, me too, once.
And not that bad. And I got it was my ex had it, so I didn't. I still blame her for.
I see. I came back from in Queensland, and I think we flew home with it. almost.
Yeah,
And this is
right.
the crazy story. Is like I went there for like a conference or something with my wife's business at the time. I went there to do like videography.
Yeah.
So we pull up at the hotel. We're getting our luggage out, and this homeless guy comes up. And now I'm not a big conspiracy theorist guy, but there was things where like homeless people were going and like touching fruit and stuff, and like the people were like passing COVID around on purpose. But anyway, this homeless guy was like talking to my wife, and like, I'm like, leave her alone. And I go into the back of the taxi, and I get 2 suitcases out, one in each hand. He tries to shake my hand. I'm like, oh, sorry, I'm holding suitcases.
Yeah.
He waits.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, he waits, and then I put one down. He's like, shake my hand. And I was like, I don't shake hands.
Yeah.
And he just leans in and he goes, shake my hand. And I was like, I'm not shaking your hand, bro. And then I reach in for another bag. My hands are now full again. He reaches on he touches my face and rubs his hands all over my face. I'm moving around. I'm not like I'm trying to get away from him, but he's got me in a grip, and then he just bolts.
Jesus, yeah.
So
yeah.
I go. I'm like, I'm not licking my lips.
Like, I need to fucking sanitize my whole face.
Yeah, I'm not licking my lips. I'm not swallowing. I'm not doing anything. I'm just like I go into the.
Where was this, at Perth Airport?
No, this is in Queensland.
Yeah.
So then I go into the hotel. I'm like, a homeless man just rubbed his hands on my face. Can I have a bath? Is there a bathroom I can use? And they're like, yeah, can you use the bathroom? And they show me where it is. Out of like scalding hot water and soap. I'm like scrubbing my face. Got COVID on that trip.
Yeah,
right.
Seems likely then.
Yeah, so I was like, maybe the next day, if not the day after, I got the chills, sweats. Definitely, I did the test. Geez. Yeah, and then but then we flew home. We completely transparent with everyone at the airport. We're not feeling well.
Yeah,
and they were like, wear a mask. You know. I was like, all right. I thought we were all like being stopped from flying.
Yeah.
Got home and we were just out of commission for a few days to a week, and that was it. But other than that, I was the same. I was like, I'm home. This is awesome.
No, I loved it because because one of the times my ex got it early on as well, but I didn't catch it, which was weird. But that was when you still had to isolate if you were a close contact.
Yeah.
So and we'd gone down south, so we were staying like in the country near Pemberton, and then it was like, oh well, you have to isolate for a week.
Yeah.
I was like, this is fucking incredible. I had like a big bag of weed, my PS4. I was like, this is literally the I was like, this is what heaven is like to me. And I wasn't even sick at all or anything, so it was like, this is genuinely like, and it was so that when we were like, oh, it's the last day today, we have to stop isolating tomorrow. It was like shit.
It's
like,
great. You're being forced to do nothing. It was actually, and I hear a lot of people saying that. It's like COVID was awesome for us.
Yeah,
you know?
I fucking loved it, man.
It was actually not bad. We liked it as well.
And there's something about, I don't know, maybe it's the kind of something that about me enjoys the kind of the world that I'm like,
chaos.
This is fucking mental. This is nuts. The whole world is like. And Perth, I mean, Perth was a good place. I don't know if I'd have felt the same if I'd lived in like Melbourne or something where you're trapped in a big city, or even like when I lived in Edinburgh, I was just in like a 1-bedroom tenement flat, and no back garden. Well, I was on the first floor, so it was. I don't know if I'd have felt the same being trapped in an apartment. Yeah. But like being in Perth where it was like the weather's nice and you've got outside space you can use and everything was like, this is fucking
at the time
incredible.
we lived in Hillary's in like a townhouse, double-story house thing.
Yeah.
very retirement village kind of vibe, and we just live opposite a park. It was just gorgeous.
Yeah.
We go out on the balcony and like have our breakfast out on the balcony and stuff. It feels like we're on holiday.
And the fringes, the Perth Fringe during COVID, there was two really, I guess, proper ones. They were amazing because there was like there was the same amount of gigs because Perth's not like the Edinburgh Fringe where the audience, people travel from all over to the city because the Fringe is on. Perth Fringe is the people that come to shows are people that live in Perth anyway. So there was the same amount of audience basically, but way less comedians because no one else could come in. Yeah. So the comedians that were here, you were getting like loads of work because there was just like no one else. Especially any like British shows, Scottish shows, any spot. It was like, and then I remember one time doing a gig, and then just in a spot at one. And then went straight to do another gig, and there was the same group of people that had been in the audience at the one before. And then they were like, I was like, fuck, you were in the last like half an hour ago.
Yeah. Did they try and finish your punchlines?
I did different material. I was like, I can try and do it. But it was. We were so joking. We were like, you're gonna see that. We're like, there's hardly any comedians here. So if you're going to these lineup shows, you're gonna see a lot of the same people quite often.
I heard someone. Didn't yell out, but just like out loud at this windmill gig said the punchline to one of my jokes.
Oh no!
And it was like, I made a joke of it, but like, hey, thanks for that fucking idiot, and just
pain in the arse.
Yeah, and it's not a guessable one,
Yeah, right. Has he seen you before?
I don't think so. I have had people see me before, like tell me that they've seen me before, and it's got in my head a bit.
Yeah.
I was at a gig and someone was queuing up. I was standing at the front, and they were like, "You were at the Comedy Lounge, and this is a different venue." And I was like, "Oh yeah." And he goes, "I really thought you should have won." I was like, "You should have clapped louder then."
yeah, exactly.
and then he got in my head because he's like, "Yeah, you were great." And I'm like, "Well, I'm doing the same shit tonight."
Yeah. Yeah, I think a lot of people don't really remember.
That's right. Yeah.
It'll only be maybe once you start a joke. They're like, oh yeah, that's I remember.
I'm trying not to get into my head. It did used to bother me, but it still sort of does when I'm like, I know that the comedian's at the back, especially when when it's like a gong and there's like 30 comics there.
Yeah.
Like, these guys have heard this before.
It
It gets in my head, but I'm trying not to worry about it. Because I saw Louis C.K. it was a great clip of Louis C.K. talking to Bobby Lee. And Bobby Lee's like, it was like he was saying my own thoughts. He was like, I feel like I could be really good, but I worry that I'm not going to bomb, that I'm not going to kill. So I just play it safe and I do the same things that I always do.
Yeah.
And he's like, and he goes, people come and see you. They rush into the room and they know you're on stage talking to Louis C.K.
Yeah.
When they know I'm on, they leave. And Louis like, who gives a fuck about the other comics?
Yeah.
You're not here for them.
That's true.
And Bobby Lee was like, who am I here for? And he was like, fucking the audience.
Yeah, exactly. If you're doing well to them, then who cares?
Yeah, that's it. So now I'm really trying to just go, like, we're all in our own sort of, I wouldn't even call it a race.
Busy focus on the and
And I've never felt in competition with anyone.
Well, it's kind of weird because it's like an individual and very individual endeavor, but then you also kind of need everyone else anyway. Like if you're in part of a good comedy scene, then it's going to make everyone better. And being around good comics and better makes you better. And, yeah. I
do try. Like I try and be positive. Like I'm generally just a grumpy old dude. You know what I mean? But with comedy and stuff, and I'm just a textbook people pleaser in general. But like I complain so much. But like, when someone gets a spot or is opening for Rove or whatever, I'm like, oh fuck yeah, that's awesome, well done. Whereas like when I first got my paid spot at the lounge, I was still fairly new and I made the mistake of just being not bragging but like sharing my excitement. And I just got a lot of like, great. And I learned very quickly not to just celebrate your own wins privately. Or like don't there's that whole thing where you just don't tell anyone what you're doing. When I started comedy and acting, I didn't tell anyone. I just went and did acting classes because I did tell a couple of people, and it's a pretty hard industry to get into. Like, you sure? And it's not easy. And this person's like an accountant, you know what I mean? Or we're like, all right, so you know all about the acting industry. I did all right, you know what I mean? I did a lot of commercials. I worked with some, A-list celebrity actors and comedians. It was awesome.
Nice.
So
who's the best name drop?
Not that I can. I'm gonna beep it out, but it was Sacha Baron Cohen.
Oh,
Yeah,
right,
and
yeah,
Ross
right.
Noble.
Yeah. Are they, because they work together? I know Ross Noble from, me and him have been running
Oh,
a
cool.
few times. He's
Oh,
into, he does a lot of like, just ultra marathons and stuff.
Yeah.
So
But it's
we're
still
doing
under
it this year in the yeah, like Adelaide and Melbourne and stuff.
Oh,
Where
cool.
a few of us would go park runs. And
That's great. It's all under NDA, so I'm going to take their names out. But I'm going to message him and see if he wants to, because
Ross Noble?
Yeah, and see if he wants to come on when he's in town.
Yeah. He's not doing the Fringe this year, I know.
No, but
He'll
he
be
is
back,
touring.
probably do his tour next year.
Yeah, but and then
cool.
auditions have been like I auditioned for a Liam Neeson film where I would play the lead villain opposite Liam Neeson.
Yeah,
and
right.
then like a Mark Wahlberg flick, and like there's been some really I didn't get those, but like the ones I did get are great. And but you know, like if you listen to the people that were like, "Are you sure you want to do it?" and you going, "Yeah, am I sure?" None of that stuff would happen.
But I was always thinking you'd rather do something like that which you enjoy. Even if it doesn't work out maybe the way you'd want it, you're still going to be happy.
Yeah,
I don't want
because
to be some accountant. No offense to any, no offense to any accountants.
offense to all of you.
I mean, I studied accounting. I did that in like I did like business and finance in college. And then I started a business in finance and business law was the name of the degree. I started in uni, and then I think I dropped out after 3. So it was a 4-year course. I dropped out after the end of third year. But first year it was that scoosh. That was easy because it was it's like pretty simple basic stuff. You could do that without really studying or trying much.
Yeah.
Second year was like, oh fuck, this is a bit like hard now.
Yeah.
Squeezed through that, and then was kind of like, I don't want to fucking do this anyway. And third year, I think I went to one. I think the whole of third year, I think I went into uni maybe like 3 or 4 days the whole year.
Oh man.
Because I was like, this is it. But I was just like, I just don't want to do it. I was like, why would I waste all this time and effort when I just don't want to do this?
I had the same thought when I did, believe it or not, Bible college.
Bible college. Is that where the youth pastor vibe comes from?
So yeah, I went to church for 7 years or so, and I feel like they must have just clung to my soul a little bit. Now the vibe I give off is like, this guy's a youth pastor.
Yeah.
But I did Bible college for a while, and then the youth pastor, one of the pastors there, sits me down maybe like about a month before the end, before I was due to graduate, and he goes, "I don't think this is the place for you." I was like, "I think you're fucking right about that."
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Funny.
So yeah, you're a Catholic church.
Well, yeah. So born and raised within itself.
Which is very Scotland predominantly.
Well, Irish, I guess, mostly.
Oh, yeah.
Scotland, we probably don't have enough time to go into the sectarian divide in Scotland, but it's well, Catholic and Protestant, the two main in Scotland.
Yeah.
Those are the two Celtic and Rangers.
Yeah.
I don't even know if Pentecostal, have they even got a football team?
No.
So you have enough passion and bigotry in your ranks.
Not yet. Just oh God, going a dangerous area. Dude, there's so much I want to joke about it.
Yeah.
I've been writing about it. I've had people that are like, "Are you sure you want to talk about that?"
Yeah.
Because a lot of weird shit happened. Like
there's something you can get stand up for that. There'd be a good fringe. That's if you're doing a fringer or something, talking about experiences.
Well, one of the guys faked cancer on a large scale. Like I'm talking. Remember, do you know that song that Churchill song? Famous sort of like it's a conglomerate church. They got millions of people.
Right.
Big church in Sydney or Melbourne or somewhere.
Yeah.
And so this guy fakes cancer. He goes on in stage in front of thousands with a bald head.
Jesus.
Wheels on an oxygen tank. All right. He's faked cancer because it turns out he's exhibiting signs of like hair loss and weight loss and stuff but it's due to stress.
So he's decided to just say that he's got cancer
to hide the fact, because he's stressed because he's been harboring an addiction to pornography since he was like 6 or something. So he writes this song, and like people are donating money, and like now he's healed of cancer. God's healed him of his fake cancer. And to his credit, he came forward about it. He came on Today Tonight and stuff. And there's a bunch of things that I want to say about it, but I also feel like comedy is such a happy place for me. I don't want to think about this shit that happened, you know what I mean? But it is like, I was talking to I think it was Tori, and he was like, I don't see things about like going to church or things about being a musician. He's like, I don't know about that. So they would make for people would want to know about it. People would find it interesting.
Yeah.
So and I was like, that's a good point. Like there was a lot of weird shit that happened in church that I could talk about.
It'd be a good fringe. It's like, they're for a theme, if you want a kind of themed fringe show or something.
Yeah.
Talking about that sort of experience.
Yeah.
You know, and it's a unique thing as well. It's not just like, and it's your experiences, your voice, you know, so it's authentic.
That's it,
as your, you know.
Yeah, I had little to do with him after he left the church and then
So
went
you
to
knew the guy personally?
Yeah, I used to go to his house. Yeah. Yeah, it's a real...
Did you get like ostracized by the community?
I think so, I don't know. Well, I deleted all those guys from my life. Like anyone that I felt like, with an adult, as an adult, looking back on it, I'm like, oh, these guys were manipulative.
You're like, is this just a cult?
Yeah, it's a lot of this. Yeah,
seems like that.
None of the fun stuff with the cult, but you know.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like some are more culty than others in this kind of religious-y things.
It is pretty culty.
Yeah.
So I'm glad I'm done. But yeah, so I'll joke about it eventually. I think you know about because it's such a big part of a large chunk of my life.
And it's people that it would be relatable to people that have grown up in that environment as well, or had parents like that or something. And
I was looking at recipes on my phone. I was trying to find Sri Lankan recipes on my phone, and I found like a screenshot from the first set that I ever did, and it had some stuff about church in there. And I think it was these terrible jokes, but one of them was like Christians Christians defend Jesus like a girl in an abusive relationship. And then had a bunch of like similarities. Of like, oh, you'd love him if you get to know him.
Yeah.
Just like he doesn't always get like this, you know.
You can't leave.
You can't leave. He's always like, no one's gonna love you like I'm gonna love you.
Yeah.
So I tried it once. You know, there's a bunch of stuff that just fell away from. And then when you try all this stuff out, and then the stuff that really works you stick with, and then you forget about all the other stuff.
Yeah.
But I could easily bring that stuff back.
Just try and throw little bits in sometimes, whatever.
Yeah,
mics and stuff.
You're also a bit of a cook as well, I see.
Oh yeah. I do a bit of cooking. Yeah. I quite like me. Yeah, I like eating.
Yeah, me too.
So that's basically why I like cooking, is because I like being able to recreate stuff.
Dude, me too. Every time I'm at a restaurant, I'm like, I'm going to try and make this at home, so I never have to come to this restaurant again.
Well, I always, when I'm at restaurants, I always try and pick something that I wouldn't make or would be difficult to make, kind of thing. Because then it's like, well, I almost go like, what's the... But unless sometimes you might want to be like, if you haven't had it before, I'll be like, I want to try it, see what theirs tastes like. Yeah. But then I mean, that's like when I've travelled and stuff, a big part of it is like just eating. I just love so Taiwan, Malaysia, Singapore, Vietnam, when I was in these places recently, just the night markets are just incredible. The street food, like I just eat nothing but street food.
Yeah, I incredible. We were in LA and there was this place called Teddy's Red Tacos. It's birria tacos. Yeah. And it's just spicy. Yeah, they're amazing. Oh, they're so good. And
there's one of them in Mount Lawley.
Yeah, I've had Don Birria.
Yeah,
I went there. It's very similar to that. Yeah. It was almost identical. But I learned how to make them. I was like, I'm going to make this stuff when I get home. Yeah. Make the consomme and stuff, dipping it all in. The only thing I didn't do was make my own tortillas.
I've done that. I mean, I bought the masa harina. No, I didn't get a press. I thought that was a little... I was like, I'll do it. But you got... And then just get like a big heavy pot.
Yeah. Same with smash burgers.
Because there's a little Mexican shop in Coventry Village in Perth that sells all imported stuff. Dried chipotles, dried chilies, and the masa harina flour and stuff.
Yeah. Well, I found the big dried red chilies that you soak and then you blend.
Yeah. Well, you can do all these. Yeah, like so. I think that one they've got it must be about 9 or 10 different types of dried chilies. But yeah, the chipotle ones I love because you can't really get them anywhere else. Yeah. And they, even just making any Mexican, they just chuck a couple in and you get the flavour. I do think that the next level, like to just make it, would be to make your own tortillas. Like Like I also they're quite easy to make.
Yeah, it looks pretty easy. Flour.
There's not really even a recipe. You just kind of do it by feel. Yeah. I think the both thing is you're supposed to put lard or something in it. Oh right. And then water, but then you basically just get to consider and then let it rest for an hour. Yeah. And then flatten it, because it's not like bread that needs to rise or something. Yeah. You just get it, but I love it. Like that was when I was in Singapore recently. I like nerd out over like the street food stuff, and I was watching this. I got hokkien and mee, which is a Singaporean dish, which is like two different sort of thin noodles and thicker noodles, so fried up with like prawns, strips of pork belly and stuff, egg. But I'd never seen this before, and this like made my. I told so many people about it. I was watching the guy making it. So he fried the noodles and stuff, and then the egg, and then he moved everything in the wok. Obviously, they've got like the big jet burner that's like the real strong. Moved it all out to the side in the wok, so it was mostly empty, and then just held it there, and it was like started smoking, and then after about 5 or 10 seconds, it just combusted, and there was like flames, and then he was like wafting the flames around the noodles and stuff. And then he like tosses it and then puts the stock and the rest of it in. And it was fucking incredible. It's one of the tastiest things I've ever... Because it would just tasted like... But I was like, I've never seen that before. It just made the wok combust and then was like wafting the flames around.
Yeah, because I do that a little bit with steak. So I get my cast iron pan and then like, you know... Yeah, I'll like sort of just shake it a little bit and then tip it just so the flames come into the and butter and oil and stuff and just give it that flamed sort of thing. My son would come into the kitchen. He's like, "What's for dinner?" And I'm like, "Oh, Jesus Christ!" Yeah, but yeah, I love cooking.
So I like trying. I like kind of experimenting and trying to cook authentic things like that and stuff as well.
Authenticity is what I'm going for. I also have like a pizza oven out there.
Yeah.
I love pizza.
Oh yeah, I've made pizza. Yeah, pizza dough from scratch.
Yeah,
and all that
same.
As well.
I also like because I love New York. I love the whole vibe there, and there was a couple places that I'm like, this is the best pizza. Yeah. And obviously, New York pizza is different from like Italian pizza. Or Perth pizza. If there is such a thing.
You can get good Italian. There's a couple of good Italian places. Yeah. Napoli pizzas you can get in Perth.
But like I was like, I want to make like a New York style pizza, like the big.
Yeah, the big slice.
Big slices. Yeah. And so I found this recipe, and it's like. Apparently the flavor over there is different. They reckon because of the tap water that they use is is not the nicest like.
Well, that'd be Perth like that, isn't it? Well, you've got the filter on your house. You can't do that. You need to go to the hose pipe or something.
That metal flavor.
Go down the park at the drinking fountain.
I found it. I found a recipe that this New York place uses, and I made the sauce from scratch.
Yeah,
and it was just. Cheese and it was just cheese.
It's so good. Homemade pizzas are fucking incredible.
Oh, and smells incredible.
But then even if you don't, because I was staying somewhere that had a pizza oven once, and I did a pizza night, and that was amazing. That was so much fun. Yeah. I've even bought the pan. I've only used it once. Yeah.
I know. I do Sri Lankan curries.
Ah, nice. Right?
Yeah. And in fact, my wife, when you got here, she was just getting back from the shop. She was getting me some stuff to make Sri Lankan.
Ah, sweet.
But I made the ragu yesterday.
Yeah.
And there's this Italian guys who I follow on YouTube, and they've got this like broken Italian English.
Right.
And then so they make a sofrito, which is the same base that's in every like Italian dish except for probably carbonara, which is like onion, carrot, and celery.
Yeah.
And then they make that. And then
what do they call that? There's another name for that. Is there a French? Is that mirepoix? Is that the French one?
I think it might be the French one.
Yeah. Sofrito is the Italian.
It's the Italian one. Yeah. But one of these Italian guys is like smelling it out of the pot, and he was like, "Can you feel the smell? Can you feel the smell, Vincenzo?"
Yeah.
Just this broken English. And it's like, so it's just, but it's the simplest dish.
Yeah,
it's like the lamb mince, the sofrito, carrot, onion, celery, passata, tinned tomatoes, tomato paste,
and that's it.
The mince. And I'm getting the order wrong, and then it just cooks for like 4 hours.
You just leave it on. It's same with like bolognese. You just do that. Leave it on. If you've got time, just do it in the morning and leave it all day, and then it'll be fucking incredible. But
then you're right, because then you go to restaurants. I get especially breakfasts, right? Because I do fantastic breakfasts.
Yeah, because then a lot of them are just like smashed avocado and poached eggs and stuff, and you're like, that's very easy and cheap to make at home. But even like just as good. Even
like a big breakfast, like I do like
a fry up breakfast, like bacon and sausage.
Yeah, bacon. I do like the American sausage, like the sausage patty thing that they do. Like I've got. You've been to America, yeah?
Yeah, only as a kid.
You know. Their breakfasts, like even Canada as well, have like the mini like roast potatoes on the plate.
Oh yeah, the little tater tots.
Tater tots. Yeah, not even the tater tots. They've got like just like tiny cubed up pieces of potato.
Yeah, just fry them.
And
up
they just and they fry. They roast them or fry them up. So I do that as well. And then I do like Gordon Ramsay's like French scrambled eggs.
Oh yeah, I do that as well. Yeah,
just like fluffy. It's really whisked beyond belief. Yeah. I just don't put the cream in it. That's all.
No.
Yeah. I'm getting myself hungry.
Yeah.
Um,
and then with Italians, obviously, are very particular about food and everything. And it sounds made up, but this was when I was working on the farm as well. There was a French guy who wasn't a good. He just cooked to eat rather than he would just cook a big Tupperware thing of pasta or rice and sausages, and then he'd just eat some and then put it in the fridge, and then next day eat some more. He was making spaghetti. He snapped the spaghetti in half, and one of the Italian guys was next to him and was like, "What are you doing?" And then he was like, "It's easier to cook it." And then he was like, "What?" And then he shouted. There was the two other Italian guys who were like, "What?" And then they genuinely came up, and the three of them were standing around watching him cook, and they were genuinely like, "Vaffanculo, porca puttana." And then he was like the French guy, but it was so funny. They were genuinely all just like, they could believe it ruined their night. They were like, "Why you snapping?"
Yeah, big no-no, right? You don't. My son keeps seeing these videos as well on YouTube of people doing it intentionally in front of
in front of
Italian
Italians,
people.
yeah.
Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
No, you're not supposed
but
to.
It was so funny. He shouted the other ones over, and they were all just completely dismayed. Just watching their whole culture being destroyed.
And if we can relate that back to comedy as we wrap, so again, you just follow your own guidebook. Like if you want to snap.
Maybe that's it. Maybe you can be a French backpacker snapping your spaghetti, and you'll find your audience.
Are you doing Fringe this time around?
Yeah, it's just spots, and so we're doing the 100% Scottish comedy.
Yeah, you and Jill and
Ian Pringle and Grant Mushet, and then we've also got Vladimir McTavish and Jojo Sutherland are coming over from Scotland.
Fantastic.
Doing it. So we're rotating around. It's a rotating cast.
Is there
it's on every night of the Fringe, but each night will be
Is there a conflict of who's the most Scottish, or is there a teasing of who's the least Scottish?
No, well, I mean technically, but I'm technically only half Scottish, so
it
would be me with the least. But no. But then calling it 90% Scottish comedy doesn't sell as well.
Well, it was funny because when I had Ian Pringle on, I got to take his photo. He's not there. I had Ian Pringle on, and there was one section that it was clipped, and I'm not sure if I posted it or not, but there was one part where he says something, and the AI generated text didn't pick it up.
Yeah.
It had just question marks, and I didn't want to just put question marks there, and I didn't want to message him and say, "What did you say here?" Because I remember laughing, but I remember I don't remember not understanding anything he said.
Yeah.
But there was one section I'm like, I know I understood him in the moment, but now I don't know what he said.
I can't figure it out.
So that was funny. But,
so that'll be good. That's on every night.
Cool.
And all that sort of shit.
That's great.
Yeah.
I think I'm opening for Gareth McKean a couple times, but I think that's it.
Cool,
I think I'm going to try and do something the year afterwards, either a split bill or I'll try and build an hour, or if this takes off in the next year, I might do a live version of this on a stage. Yeah. Literally this setup.
You could have a few different. You could have 3 guests on.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I often do group ones. So I think if I do a recurring sort of show, I'll have different guests on each time. You know what I mean? You just an improv thing, play games. And then podcast it as well.
Sick.
But so and people can find you at David Callan on social media.
David X Callan.
David X Callan.
Not Dave Callan.
Not Dave Callan. No.
That's the other one.
No.
Follow him as well. Follow both of us.
Yeah.
Might as well.
They're
the
in
whole clan.
Yeah, they're tight. It's fine. You're not gonna if you follow one, you're not gonna have to unfollow the other one.
Yeah, I do get people coming to when I've done solos. There's always a few people over the run that will come because they think I'm him, but then they'll be like, "That was great," and then they'll come back again. So I'm like, "This is it. You can build your audience by just having a same name."
Has there only been because David Hughes was telling me that there was someone reached out to him when he was in Melbourne and said, "I'm a huge fan. I've got this gorgeous Airbnb we want you to stay at," and he messages Hughesy, and he's just like, "I'm in London, so have at it." And then, so is there anything like that happened to you with Dave Callan?
I've had one. There was 2 or 3 fringes ago. I got a message asking if I could MC some gig, but it was someone I didn't know, and the way they were talking sounded like they knew me, and also the money was very good. And then, and now MC a lot, so I was like, I replied and was like, "Yeah, look, I can do it, but I have a feeling you think that I'm this person," and then they just didn't reply. So I was like, "Fuck, I should have just." When I was in Singapore the very first time I got a gig, this was a few years ago, because the guy thought it was him. Because I messaged him going, I'm in Singapore, you know, if you've got anything. And he got back in touch a couple of days later and was like, oh yeah, we've already got a headliner. And I was like, this is like 6-7 years ago. And he was like, we've already got a headline, but we can squeeze you in for 10 minutes and, you know, give you $100. Or whatever. I was like, fuck, cool, yeah. And then got to the gig, and he's like, yeah, you doing? There you go, backstage and stuff. And then it was only after the gig. So the gig went well, did my 10 minutes, great night. The headliner, Callan, who's he's quite well known over there. He's got a Netflix special, a Malaysian comic. He crushed it. So it was packed, the room, because he's not known, and he was the headliner. And it was only after the gig, the guy running it came up to him and was like, oh, you're not who I thought you were. So he'd messaged Callan, the headliner, and said, this Dave Callan, you do? And he'd been and done Melbourne Comedy Festival and knew the other Dave Callan. I was like, yeah, he's amazing, he's great, get him on. Yeah. So then he'd got back in touch with me, offered me a spot. Yeah. But then when I'd got there, the two of them were standing, and when I'd walked off, Callan said to Umar, the guy running it, like, who's that? And he was like, what? That's the guy you were like, he's amazing, you should give him a spot. And then he was like, what? I have no idea who that is. I've never met him before. So then he said they spent the whole show being like, fuck, what if he's like terrible or racist or some shit. But then so then he was like, haha, yeah, anyway, if you're coming back to Singapore, give me a shout. So I've done that a couple of times since. I did it recently. I did it like about a month ago when I was over. Yeah.
It pays to be Dave and David Callan.
Well, that's it. Get your foot in the door, and then once it...
Yeah, that's great. Yeah. But thank you again for joining me, mate. We'd love to have you back at any time.
Yeah.
In fact, we might get you and Burke or you and Pringle on, or all three of you together.
Yeah, a little Scottish one.
Do a group one.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Awesome. Thank you for watching, everyone. See you next week. See you later.